1:36 still going. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. All the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketchen.
Hold it!
You're Mr. Natsuma's landlord, Mr. Garrett, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. Ah, you are that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Jones and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? Er begeht jetzt nicht die Strecke. Oh, wir haben so für dich getan. Gib uns jetzt das unguilty. I mean, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting that therefore you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Oh no. Can't be denied, I suppose. The cause of the Garrett house was the talk of the town after the business. Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get the bally soul to take up the tenancies. Oh. Haven't had the heart to break the news to Joan yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do us a lot, but not for us, that's for dash certain. Well, rip. That's the curse of the Garrett house was the talk of the town. Lodgers moved out and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies. Okay. I suppose not. Course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilt here, obviously. Obviously. But honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial. And less to juror number 2. Oh nein, weil sie in einem Maid-Outfit ist. Okay. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see. Again. A maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? Eyesores. Schandfleck. Ah, okay. On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pickpockets and crossmen. That scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those backslums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Sherlock Jones. That's right, I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Wayne's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London Street. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Jones? A maid? It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very greatest detective. Minor detail, it was the two brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Jones, not the defendant. A minor detail indeed, they are all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, alright, I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are the scum of the earth, they should swing for shooting the great detective.
Hold it!
I agree with you, the shooting of Mr. Jones was an unforgivable act. But the purpose of this trial is to determine who shot the pawnbroker, Mr. Windybank. I'm afraid you're splitting hairs, sir. Sorry? Whether it was the thieves or the pickpurse, it was still gutter trash that shot the pawnbroker in the end. Filth that should be cleaned up and eradicated, in my considered opinion. Thanks so much for sharing. Changing this maid's mind isn't going to be easy. We know. It was one of those two brothers that shot Hurley, wasn't it? Yes, without question. Well then, I'll never forgive them. Oh, I was. Perhaps we can use this maid's statement to help us somehow, do you think? Yes, maybe. Let's listen carefully to what each juror has to say first. I think you'll find that if you look at that photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. The brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective. Okay. The photograph stereo. Okay. Oh, stop. I told you. Hold it! What do you mean? Look at the photograph in stereo. Sorry? What? Don't you know? If you look at the photographic print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously.
Objection!
But there's no indication that the defendant ever fires the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh, how did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. It never gets old, seeing the two prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary, it's captivating, it's the height of modernity. Of course. Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay, giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. If only it could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. If I have left it in there, I should think there'll be repercussions by now. What's mine?
Hold it!
What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere, or something like that. Ah, so sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors. Oh no. Wait, hat er... Oh, er hat wahrscheinlich Sherlock, meine ich, operiert und hat die Kugel nicht gefunden. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So, what is it that you think you've left behind? Ah, well, that's a little embarrassing to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday. Standard thing, went into the abdomen. But when I'd finished the procedure, I couldn't find my scalpel anywhere. What? Did he... Surely not. Okay, er hat den Skalpell noch vergessen, okay. Exactly, surely not, you say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern, and seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure. Mind made up, stop. Global ratio transmission of verdict to follow, stop.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable? On the ocean bed? It makes my head hurt just thinking about it. Welcome to the future. You are well informed, young lady. Hehe. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried. Over airwaves to four corners of globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They are just silly toys. Okay. Excuse me. Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do. Say that again. Go on. I dare you. Goodness, are you talking to me? I think you just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh. Absolutely. I mean, really, a machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you'd never even noticed before. What? Have you got any, Bruno? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope? Das hier vielleicht? Ich speichere mal. Absolutely. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Take that! Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Wait. One more. Nochmal das? Wait, sorry? What do you mean, one more print? Oh dear, don't you have these in the Far East? Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno, what? You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope, remember? Yeah. You know, one for the left eye and one for the right. Oh yes, I remember now. But the print we have from the pawnbroker is just a normal photograph. No. I think you'll find that the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. Well, if we obtain another print at some point later in the trial, we can always show it to this young man then. Aha! I think you'll find that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Counsel? All we need is another shot from a slightly different location. We could see the scene in 3 dimensions. Hold it! Can it really show up new clues though? Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think. Wir haben doch nichts. Oh Mann. Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Oh Mann, ich wollte das nicht machen. Very well, I like to wait. You ready to? Take that! Wait, sorry? What do you mean? One more print? Ja, okay. Dann lassen wir ihn jetzt erstmal alone. Okay. Zack, ja, in Ordnung. Oh, yes, I remember now. Dann fragen wir den Russian Guy nochmal. Let's get things back on track, shall we, Counsel? If I have left in there, I should think there will be repercussions by now. Mind made up, stop, blow away, transmission. In motherland we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent.
Hold it!
Please tell me you are not violent Bolshevik. Ach ja, violent Bolshevik, so hieß er ja. The Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary? Da, I believe there is such a rumor. It's just a rumor? As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. It looks like vicious criminal. Your words, not mine. Just want to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. And which glove first? Fits. Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Right, that didn't sound staged at all. You forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like a vicious criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. So I have much sympathy for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Skalkin brothers. Da, maybe they went inside pawnbroker shop, but they have done nothing wrong. That is all what I want to say. The Skalkin brothers did nothing wrong that night. Alright, well first of all, that's one not so little misunderstanding I need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Bruno? The jewels are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jewels, the trial will be over. But we know that Ginny would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jewels are saying and pit them against each other. I must be ready to go to whatever length I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Okay. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for swing the great detective. Und dann das vom Russen. Mother, we say never judge by clothes. I'm convinced brothers are innocent.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord. Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement? Contradictory. Contradict. C-O-N. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick, I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skalkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from the revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you are not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen, A-B-D. Sir. Sorry, my English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear. Forgive me, I did not hear. Here's word. Abdomen, part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, you should say in plain English. I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man be on the jury again? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals were lying. They said before we never done anything, but truth is, they shot detective. Da, this is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now. It's not the mouse's fault though, sir. I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. I'm afraid it won't be possible. Yes, it is, Bruno. Easily. Sorry? With the prints from Hurley's red-handed recorder. Ah, if you compare the print that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Cui, Mr. Prosecutor. Tut tut, calling on the prosecutor in the middle of the summation examination of all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulking brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ringing out. Kurzer Hand, summarily, okay. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is a print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then. As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. That does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. Entschuldigung. So, the brothers who looked like criminals told only one lie. They shot men, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understood the situation. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. Nice. Yay! Well done, Bruno. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we just might turn the situation to our favor still. Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. And kindly hand the new photographic print to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. The post-shooting photograph has been entered into the court record. A photograph taken automatically by the red-handed recorder showing the scene after the murder had taken place. Okay, dann haben wir ja jetzt was wir im Stereoskop gucken können. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. In Lake of Lies are many dead fish. We must find truth, therefore I say not guilty verdict. Was haben wir jetzt nur eins? Okay. Hold it! Also wir gucken uns erstmal das Foto nochmal an. Hier. Okay, 1:30 AM. Okay. Ist da irgendwas? Das Notebook da? Nein. Die Lampe ist kaputt. Die Lampe ist kaputt. Aber sonst weiß ich nicht. Hold it! Can it really show up new clues though? Don't know unless you try. How about this print here? Zack. Present. Take that! Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any two suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Take that! Alright, these two prints were both taken with the same camera and Windy Banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Yup, tun wir. Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the position of some objects. Then when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important. So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Oh! Of course, now I see. Ah, I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have! Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Uno. Go on. Okay. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? Ja, die Leute stehen nicht da, Kappa. Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Oh wow. Well, yes, you can see that straight away. But now, try looking at the picture in the 3 dimensions. Alright, I'll give it a go. So, to start with, you have to cross your eyes and then try to make the two pictures overlap exactly. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens from each picture overlap in the middle. Will das Game jetzt wirklich, dass ich schiele? Wait. Scheinbar schon. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Bruno? I saw it, yes. Ah! What's going on with these two pictures? Some of the things on the counter they sort of jump out at you. Do they? Yes, that's it, you see? That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Oh, other amazing power? Is someone going to explain this like magic, eh? Why did you do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that? Weiß ich nicht. I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you answer your own question. Basic Principles of the Stereoscope. Ich frage mich, ob beim 3DS das dann einfach so war, dass man den 3D-Effekt ausgemacht hat. Und ob man dann beides gesehen hätte. Wäre mal interessant zu wissen. As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's a slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words, even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yes, there must have been. Und was bedeutet das jetzt? Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does the shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on. You're the cross-eyed master. What? Me? I haven't the first idea. You know, Bruno, it's quite simple. It is. Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 AM. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken, but the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometimes in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zuckers! Someone tampered? New information. Stop. Not mentioning in testimony so far. Stop. Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved. But by whom? Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter. Die Skalken-Brüder? Oder was?
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skalkin brothers. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy Lockets. My phrasebook says dukes is meaning hands, and Lucy Lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Now hold on there a minute, you can't be sure of that. I quite agree, the accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun to the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was cursing Mr. Windybank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Mr. Straight's interest lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skalkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pickpocket, common gutter trash. Why look any further for the wrongdoer here? Because the Skalkin brothers are thieves, man. No better, in fact worse, than a pickpocket. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she is a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from the shady pair. Oh yeah. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen the extraordinary potential firsthand. Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. Will return home via Regent Street. Stop. Yeah. Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion, with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Yay! Well done! Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, you know. You never know when it might come in useful. Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely? But alright. The stereoscope has been entered into the court record, the fold-up device that allows anybody to enjoy seeing things in 3 dimensions simply by looking through the eyepiece. Lord von Zieks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. I'm sure I don't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. Um ehrlich zu sein, das habe ich nicht ganz verstanden, wie die Sachen da hinten rausgestochen sind. Heißt das jetzt, dass die Sachen, die unscharf waren, die nicht herausgestochen sind, dass die bewegt wurden, oder dass die Sachen, die herausgestochen sind, bewegt worden sind? Ich weiß nicht, da bin ich einfach zu dumm, um das zu visualisieren. Vielleicht liegt es aber auch nur an mir. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about the activities that night at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued, okay. Ah! Oh Mann, es ist 2:10 Uhr, Leute.